Hello, bookish people. Come to you today with a tag. It is the still a BookTube newbie tag, just sort of a way to let's take a deep breath and then we can continue on. I went back in all my videos. I've been on BookTube since December the 6th, 2017 officially, at least as a on the camera. And I wasn't actually on it that long before that. And I realized, actually, I've never done the BookTube newbie tag. I did the new to BookTube tag, but I never did the BookTube newbie tag, which I don't know if that's my first rookie mistake or whatever. And that's no criticism of the tag. This tag, still a BookTube newbie tag, it comes from Racheal Marie Book Junkie. Yeah. Let's jump into it. You know, I can impart all my wisdom and also just show you how, yeah, I'm totally still a complete newbie. Why do you still consider yourself a newbie? Well, it's only been like less than 2 years, and I'm not a quick learner. It's one of these things of, I think I've gotten a little bit more comfortable talking on the camera. Apparently a part of my channel's character is I'm rambly, which is sad because I sit down and I try and plan things out, but then I get in front of the camera and I just start talking and I get over enthusiastic and I go into the weeds and I just keep on going. And I've only recently kind of discovered this editing thing, and I'm still sort of, I don't know how much editing will be done because I don't want to look at my face all the time. That would be a real impediment to me. And also, I think I'm also a BookTube newbie because talking in the camera is actually only half the has only half the experience of being a booktuber, of being on BookTube. The other half, for someone who's standing in front of the camera, is then actually to engage with people in the comments. And I have to admit, I'm doing this part, the video part, because this, strangely enough, for someone who is not a talker, someone who doesn't easily, if you came up to me in the street, I'd be like, go away, I don't want to talk to you. But if I'm talking to myself in a room, I'm actually strangely comfortable. I know people talk about, oh, I stand alone in a room and I talk to a camera and that feels weird. It's like, no, that feels relaxing to me. But the thing is this is only half the job, is doing this part of it, and probably editing and scripting or planning and getting proper lighting and all the other stuff that I've just turned my back on. The other half is actually engaging people in the comments and listening to what they have to say. I think I'm a bad listener, actually. I have to kind of stop getting, I start putting all my anxieties and stuff into my answers, and I come off very awkwardly in text, even more awkwardly than this. So I think I've probably thoroughly answered that question, and let's move along. Number 2, who are some of your greatest inspirations for joining BookTube? And I think, like most people, I kind of found out about BookTube by, this person was on BookTube and they became like, a big booktuber. But that isn't the person who inspired me. The people who inspired me were people who set up their phone in their room, have crappy lighting, and just sort of chat naturally to the camera. Very much, unfortunately, it turns out they're actually quite eloquent and have organized minds and make it look a lot easier than they make it look like, oh, you just fallen off a log. You just set up the camera and you start talking about a book. It's like, no, it's harder than that. But in the beginning, I was fooled into that. And if you can get fooled into that too, I heartily recommend, regular people just sort of sit down in front of a camera and they talk about books. And as you go along, hopefully you get better at it. I hopefully you do. What surprised you the most about what surprised you the most after joining BookTube? I think how much I came to kind of care about the people I watched, because I wasn't watching kind of highly produced, sort of which isn't to knock people who put out very highly polished product, but in some ways that's no difference than watching somebody on TV. Whereas there's some of the best booktube channels, it's like, it's almost like we're just having a video chat, but I luckily I don't have to chat back to them, but it's that there's a conversation going, and it's like you really care about their lives, and you learn about little incidental things, or their cat or their dog wanders through, or their partner makes fun of them from off screen, and it's like all that stuff. You begin to really feel like you know these people, and if you're good at comments, you get to know them in that kind of internet-y way, where you get this little window on their lives, and you really care about them, and you know. You care about them, and you can be you can root for them, you can be happy for them, you can be sad, you can be disappointed, all that stuff. It's the magic of this kind of a platform, you know, that it's there. So that's probably what surprised me the most. What lessons have you learned since joining joining what lessons have you learned since joining BookTube? I guess um, I've learned that it's such a multifarious community, that I can exist in a little pocket over here and have no idea that there's a whole other thriving community over here. I mean, like, I'm completely cut off from kind of the YA younger crowd. And that's fine. That's no knocks to them. It's just like, you know, interests don't overlap. You know, it's, you know, but it's just like, but then suddenly you drop into little corners and you're like, oh wow, I love this. So that, you know, it's one of these things of hopefully it's one of these things, if you can persist on something like BookTube, you will eventually find that slot where you feel like you fit, or where there's people who are kind of, you know, will welcome you and will want to engage in discussions of the stuff that you love. It's like, it's one of these things, there's, you know, and it doesn't take too many people to suddenly make you feel that community. You know, at the same time, to remember that we're on the internet, and to that, you know, don't forget that, you know, the people in your real life have a kind of a connection to you that is, you know, it's not to disparage BookTube, but is that much more important. You're physically in their lives. There's something about the internet which is very kind of like, I could just stop posting for a while, and like, how long would it take people to notice that I'm gone, I guess, or that someone's gone? It's like, suddenly it's 6 months later. It's like, but someone in your real life, it's like, you know, if I don't see, you know, my partner at the end of this day, I'm going to be like concerned, and you know, to make sure that you have those supports around you as well. That, you know, that's important, because I think there's at some points in BookTube you feel isolated, and a part of that is, it's not personal, it's just the structural thing of how the internet is, that you can feel that I've felt very like isolated, or like, oh, no one really cares about me on BookTube. It's like, and that's, you know, that was me getting in the way of myself, getting in the way. It's not about me, it's that we're you know, we're on the internet, and it's just structurally not set up that way that you're going to have those kind of supports. And it's wonderful when you can make those real life connections with somebody through this medium. I guess I'm a shy person. I don't know how I feel about that. There's people I really love on this thing, on this platform, but I kind of like, oh God, but they get to know me in person, and like, I think I'm the same person. But I'm my most outgoing, because I'm just standing in a room alone talking to the camera, but I am talking to you. So yeah, oh God, I am going to go through, and this is a very good introduction to exactly how long and rambly I get. And I guess I'm in a very philosophical mood at the moment. What fears do you still have about your channel? Um, What fears do I still have about my channel? I mean, I guess there was at the beginning, it was probably making an ass of myself and just being driven from BookTube, which hasn't happened yet. And indeed, at the beginning, it was quite comforting. I don't think I got any comments on my videos. I think I was like, I got very few comments on my videos and very few views, and that was actually very comforting to me. I think some people find that very dispiriting. But it took a good long while before there were people who I think peek in every once in a while and say, okay, he's doing a 20-minute video. Okay, well, look at the first 5 seconds and maybe the last minute, and then kind of leave something nice to say. But so there's that. I mean, a lot of the time people aren't even going to notice you. Is that a comforting? That was a comforting lesson I learned at the beginning. Is like a lot of people are just not going to notice you, and that's all right. And that was all right for me, because I was doing this because I love reading, and apparently I love yapping in front of the camera, which thing. What fears do I still have? I guess as the more people I get, this, the thing about me standing in a room alone talking to the camera is that in a way it's not like it's a diary, but it's like I'm just talking to myself, and a lot of the fears that I get, a lot of the things that would tamp me down in actual society, it's like, oh, I don't want to offend anyone, oh, I don't want to impose myself. It's like, well, no, this is just me kind of talking alone in a room, and I'm talking to myself, and I guess if people want to listen to this, they actually clicked on it. So I guess the fear is that, what is that fear? I guess the fear is I get anxiety as my subscriber count goes up. I really try not to look at that, and if my wife wants to torture me, she points out, oh, it's gone up more. It's like, yeah, which isn't, but okay, that's just me getting in front of myself again. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next question. We're getting lots of fears here. What kind of content would you like to create that you haven't yet? I would like to create a concise book review, which is a half, a quarter, an eighth, maybe as good as someone like Jen of Insert Literary Pun Here. Someone's, or a Book Olive, or not another book vlog. Oh God, I can't even remember his name at the moment. Because you should really go and see. I will put a link down below of his review of A Little Life, which was a book that I'd heard reviewed to death on this channel, and he surprised me, and that's wow. And actually, that was a 25-minute long review, and it is riveting, and you will be there for the whole 25 minutes, and you will, well, I cried at the end. So, yeah, that's the kind of book content. So I guess I can do 25-minute videos. I just have to do good ones. Yeah. Number 7, who have been some of your greatest supporters on your of your channel? I actually went through a lot of the people who I just kind of hear from a lot, and who I really do try and pay back, and I don't pay back enough. It's not pay back, but it's like I watch their videos, but I get in front of myself and I don't want to say anything because I think it's dumb or I think it's not. But these are a lot of people who are kind enough to leave comments on my videos and kind of be a thing, be into my thing. Someone like Dane Reeds, I think, was very kind. Dane probably was one of the first people past my kind of my first kind of new question, though that was actually a Martha Osborne, who hasn't posted a video since for like forever. Was, I think, one of the first people I subscribed to, and first people who I who commented on my video. I would like to say, thank you to her. Thank you to Dane, who, yes, he actually commented on one of my review things at the very beginning. Very kind, supportive booktuber. But people like Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Laura Frey, Alan Morton, Lindsay Reeds, Cerelia, postmodern poetry prognosticator Mike, PK's Books, Rainy Day Reads, Joseph Francis Burton, Mel's Bookland Adventures, Catalyst Reads, Michael, and and a whole ton of people who Gail Daughtery. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm getting your names wrong. Who really engaged with me in comments, and I this is me tracking what through my video comments, but who a lot of people who are not in front of the camera but are behind, better in the comment sections doing an amazing job. My hat is off to you, because if I was that defeats me still now. But also other people that I doubt if they really know that I existed. People like Britta Bowler, Steve Donahue, Memento Mori, Steve Partridge, Janet, insert literary pun here, a book olive, so many great channels that I just enjoy watching. I enjoy hearing about what books they're reading, even if I'm not interested in their books. Just really amazing people, and there are a ton more of what kind of swims through my feeds, which I don't click on at all. I click on what stuff kind of interests me. There's just this torrent, and there's not enough hours in the day to watch it all, and I'd like to have some of it for reading. So those most definitely are people who either support my channel or who have supported my interest in BookTube, and I think both of those are really important. Yeah, and I guess at the end of this 17-minute long video, God, well, this is a good introduction to me of tag your favorites. I will not tag my favorites. I will tag people who, for whatever reason, had stepped back from BookTube for whatever reason, whether it was just sort of they just weren't feeling it, they were feeling isolated, whether they weren't welcomed, whether they had bad experiences, whether you're people who you're kind of worried about stepping in front of the camera. There's risks. There are risks involved. There are risks involved in everything in this life. There's amazing stuff that happens on BookTube. I don't sugarcoat it. There's shitty stuff that happens as well. I hope you'll look at it. I tag those people because if only just to kind of weigh the positives and negatives. And if it comes down negative, you ignore me. If it comes down positive, yeah, do this tag, do another tag, start a channel, or enliven the comments, because that's where half of this thing lives and is definitely somewhere I will try and get out of my way and continue with, which is, unfortunately, if you go back to other videos, people who've watched me know this is a recurring theme for me. All right, now get ready. I have lots of Trollope for you. This is my channel. I have I read fantasy, science fiction, history, old Victorian novels. I am in the middle of Steve Donahue's Trollope thing, and I'm doing I do every week. It's like 20 chapters of Anthony Trollope, books written in the late 1800s. Is my jam at the moment, mixed with other stuff. And I mean, you're gonna watch what you're gonna watch. I don't blame you if you're maybe not gonna want to go into the minutia of Trollope with me. If you do, that is awesome, and I welcome you. If you don't, that's okay. You just sort of see my face flitting by, you go, oh, Trollope, okay, and you just wait for something that maybe interests you, because that's what we all do. You gotta edit everything in this life, or else you won't have any time for reading, which or your loved ones. reading and loved ones reading. You know, you gotta balance. You gotta prioritize one, then the other one, then the other. Well, no, we all know which one. When you die, it's probably not. I didn't read enough books. That's well, oh, that's another discussion video right there. You know, I didn't read enough books, or I didn't spend time with my my partner, my children, my fur children over there. For me, I hit the 20-minute mark. It must be time to end the video. More videos later.